have no rules, which is so different than any other motorsport. So we're able to do some of these things. So I mean, it's so much fun to drive them, but they're scary. 6 speed, 1,100 horsepower, 4-wheel drive. It's a beast.
Welcome to the RACER Debrief. I'm Lawrence Foster, and we are counting down to the 58th Score Baja 1000. And today, a very special guest. We have got one of the rising stars of the headlining class, the trophy truck class. We've got Christopher Polvoorde with us. So, Christopher, welcome to the Debrief.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to debrief a little. I was actually just down in Mexico, so I'm ready for it.
Well, here we are. Set the scene. I know that in last year's 1000, you got the chance to race alongside Bryce Menzies. What is the setup? What is the roster for the trophy truck this year?
So it's actually, we're repeating it, and this isn't super public knowledge yet, but we're releasing it. So I'm not too worried. But yeah, Bryce and I are gonna go for it again after last year's. For those who didn't watch, we were the team to be kind of beat, which was exciting for me. I grew up watching Bryce, so it was super exciting. And then we qualified first. It just seemed like all the stars were aligning. And then at mile 12, we had a fluke mechanical failure. That's where our day ended, at mile 12, after months of preparation and everything looking in our way. But that's Baja. So we decided this year, let's try this again. It's a very similar course. So strategy, pre-running, all that stuff, it's actually been pretty seamless. Like probably the least stressful Baja 1000 planning I've ever been part of. So it's kind of exciting.
Hi, quick timeout to tell you about something special. You are going to want to visit racer.com/bundle. Racer just dropped a bundle for real motorsports fans. It includes Racer Plus, the new streaming home for everything from WRC and Dakar to DTM, Crandon, the Isle of Man TT, drifting, and even these podcasts, all in one place. You name it. This is a full spectrum of racing, from grassroots to global, off-road to electric, 2 wheels or 4, and it's a spectacular deal. Head to racer.com/bundle to sign up now. All right. Back to the show. So it's this year. It's a loop course. It's 854 miles. How have you split up the driving? Who's the starting driver? Who, when it does all go according to plan this year, is the guy bringing it back to Ensenada? How have you done the split?
Yeah, so I'll qualify and start and go to about the halfway mark. There's a big speed zone just south of San Felipe, so around mile 450-ish. So yeah, I'll do the first 450 miles, and then Bryce will jump in and do the last 400, bring it back into town. So it was same as last year. Yeah, so like the planning and everything has been, it just feels like copy and paste, which it kind of is refreshing because it allows me to focus more on the driving, which is what I like to do. So,
and as you say, you've just come back from pre-running. What are your thoughts on the condition of the course and how it may change over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so with us racing this course last year, you definitely see a lot of it that it took a beating at last year's Baja 1000, but overall, it's in pretty good condition. We've been getting a decent amount of rain. The rain ruts are there, but they're not too bad. Overall, yeah, it's looking pretty good. So in my section, they added about 15 miles and took away another 15 miles. The new 15-mile section, super tight technical, but kind of fun, not too rough. We've never raced on it, which is it's refreshing. A lot of times we're on the same course. It's very rough. 450 miles for me is it's a pretty short stint. It's not short, but sometimes we're doing these, but it's super technical. So yes, it's short, but mentally it's still a huge challenge. And that's what's kind of fun about this course. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun course. That's probably a little tougher than last year because it's just taken so much abuse from last year's Baja.
This is RACER, your all-access pass to the best in motorsports, performance, and car culture. Get RACER Plus for live races, extended highlights, breaking news, and fan-favorite build and enthusiast shows, all in one place. From Formula Drift to off-road mayhem.
A full-blown nail-biter.
Supercars to grassroots brawls, garages to rare collectors. Stream it all, anytime, anywhere. This is about machines and the people who move the culture forward. And when the screen fades, the story continues in RACER Magazine, a collectible trusted by champions, creators, and connoisseurs. Every page, a deeper dive into the soul of speed and performance. RACER Plus and RACER Magazine, the ultimate bundle. Built for the obsessed, powered by passion.
And you get the trucks will set out round about 10 a.m. on Friday the 14th. Your stint, I guess, sort of doing the math and doing the speeds and stuff, you will be actually moving into darkness in the sort of like the second half of your leg.
Yeah, so I mean, if all goes to plan in our calculations, I should turn the lights on right at the end of my stint.
Right.
Which, yeah, so it should be right at the end. Bryce's stint's going to be all on dark, but a majority of mine's going to be during the day with very little. If anything, I'll have to drop Fred's Tractor Trail, which is like this super gnarly mountain pass that we like drop off this edge. It's, that could be in the dark depending on how it all plays out. So, but then the rest should be hopefully daylight, which is, for me, I'm not the best at night driving, so
right.
It works out. That's why we chose to do it last year, which was rare. Bryce had never let anyone start his truck. So it was definitely nerve-wracking for me. You know, I grew up watching Bryce. You're like, oh man, Bryce Menzies, I'm teaming up with him, and then they're like, hey, you should qualify, and I'm like, well, has Bryce ever done that before? They're like, no, but just we think it's better. And I'm like, okay. It was a little scary.
So, when did you find out that you would be qualifying?
It was last year's planning when we really we sat down in a meeting like this, and just went, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what you're good at. And we kind of just boom, boom, boom. And there was more pros to having me start and qualify, which was very nerve wracking. And so, yeah, and then last year, like when going into it, you're super nervous. You don't know. You don't want to crash the truck. Then and then I qualified first, which for me, it was my first ever P1 qualifying trophy truck. So like, it was one of those things. It was like, oh, well, it worked, but this is nerve wracking. So, yeah, going into this year, a little less nerve wracking. I've qualified first again. But you know, still the pressure's on. It's the Baja 1000, and you're teamed up with one of the biggest teams. So there's a lot of factors that make it nerve-wracking.
Now, the way the week goes, the Baja 1000 week, you will qualify on the Tuesday.
Correct, Tuesday.
Then get into, you know, the craziness of contingency and all of the build-up, and then basically get loose on the Friday morning. Just describe to us that sort of that pre-start feeling, the fact that you know you're about to sort of blast off into those washes, and try and give us some idea of, you know, what it's like to be at the wheel of a 850 horsepower plus, basically, beast.
Yeah. So I mean, the one we'll be piloting, it's almost 1,200 horsepower.
Oh, so I completely.
Yeah. No, there's no getting around these trucks are absolute just engineering masterpiece. I feel like, you know, a lot of the racing world looks to Baja and off-road racing as we're some rednecks and stuff, but the technology has come over here. We have no rules, which is so different than any other motorsport. So we're able to do some of these things. So, I mean, our vehicles, they're getting crazy. The technology, the speeds, but it's so much fun to drive them. But they're scary. 6-speed, you know, 1,200 horsepower, 4-wheel drive. it's a beast that can take on a lot of different things, but they're big, they're heavy, they don't slow down very well, they're super wide, so you're constantly battling those things. We're going through different roads, but yeah, lining up, I'm not gonna, it's the nerves are high, especially at Baja 1000. Everyone at the start line, all the top guys, I mean, we're chatting, but at the same time, we're all pretty locked in. Like, you're about to get in a car for, could be 8 to 12 hour stint, depending on how you're splitting it up. And, it's got to be game on for 12 hours, which is brutal. So it's definitely intimidating, and, the consequences are so high. Last year, yeah, we broke, and it was, but in the end, we got lucky, that's all that happened. It could have been way worse. If that failure happened at 120 miles an hour, who knows what could have happened. So yeah, that part's definitely intimidating. You got the trucks that are trying to kill you because they're so fast. They're so just these wild beasts, which make it awesome. I mean, that's why I'm so excited to drive these things. Like, growing up, you watch them, but now seeing the speeds, you're like, holy cow. And when you're really locked in, like the tunnel vision effect with those things, because we're going down such narrow roads, such technical things, like it's hard to explain the true speeds in such, technical environments. But yeah, the overall, it's intimidating. It's nerve wracking. I think everyone's got nerves, the top guys down. So, but that's what makes it fun. And when you get in, once you get flowing, it definitely starts to just click, like any form of racing. But what's different about Baja is just every corner is different. You never know what's around it. You think you know what's around it. And kind of as soon as you think you know what's around it, it usually reminds you, no. I mean, last race, I came over a blind rise and smoked a cow. Like, stuff like that. You just can't prepare for. But then you have to mentally be able to kind of get through that. So that mental challenge, lining up and going, okay, whatever throws at me for the next 12 hours, you just got to deal with it. So yeah, that's kind of the fun.
And in terms of obviously pre-event testing, the fact that you do have Bryce's incredible amount of experience and success, will you sort of tend to defer to Bryce on specifics of setup, on specifics even of sort of, how to set up the lights or whatever, or are you sort of an equal partner in the, I want this on the suspension, Bryce wants this, let's meet in the middle?
Yeah, it's definitely, going, when you show up to these tests, especially driving his vehicle and stuff, it's intimidating because you're like, oh, how much do I say? But I will say, like, Bryce and his whole team are super welcoming, and now coming back for year two, like, I'm definitely less nervous, a little more open. I'm willing to talk, and everything I say, they take, and we ultimately go, okay, what's the best decision for the team? Let's not look at it personally. I could care less if they tell me, no, that's a bad decision. But yeah, we just did our first shakedown, and I got in the truck and I was like, hey, Bryce, I really don't like how it does this. And he was like, well, what do you want to throw at it? And I threw some things at it with his guys. Then he jumped in the truck and drove. He's like, you know what? I like that. Let's roll. So it's cool to work alongside, heroes that you grew up watching, and then them taking feedback. But yeah, it's been that balance. With the lights, it's funny because some people take light setup so seriously, and it's a kind of a problem. Both Bryce and I are like, looks good. Yep. And the guys are like, that one's crooked. We're like, oh yeah, it is. Shoot. So this year, I mean, we both spend a little bit of time, but I mean, ultimately he's doing a lot of night driving. So I'm like, hey, you got to do it. Yeah, it's kind of exciting to work alongside with him and like be at that same level. Cause to be honest, I never really thought I'd be at Bryce Menzies level, especially at my age.
I keep on saying it. Bryce Menzies is your teammate.
Yeah. No, it's trippy. So, it just doesn't seem real. And to just, call him up and be like, hey, bro, I think we should do this. You're like, oh man, that's kind of cool.
What about in terms of, obviously you are taking that first half of the course. You've done the pre-running. Have you sort of marked out sections where these are the ones I'm going to really push. These are the ones where I'm going to really sort of hold back. I mean, you must have some sort of theoretical game plan in your head, before reality strikes or whatever. But what are the sections that you think will be the absolute clinchers on your half of the course?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough part. There's so many different sections. Everyone's got different strategies, and that's what makes Baja fun. And it's hard to predict everyone's strategies. But ultimately, I have to remind myself I'm only doing the first half. I am really a delivery driver. I need to get Bryce a good truck so he can get in and ultimately hopefully finish. And if we need to push, he can put. He has a vehicle that's capable of pushing. I don't provide him, damaged goods. But yeah, there's a lot of different points. I feel I'm really strong in some of the really technical stuff, and then some of the really high speed stuff that's a little more risky. I know that's kind of contradicting, but there's a lot of that middle stuff where it's kind of like fast, flowy. I think I'm good in that, no doubt, but I think I can excel in some of these higher risk scenarios based on all of my backgrounds. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna cruise in the beginning and let where do we qualify? Where does that all play in? And kind of, we always cruise. Now we have so much live tracking and stuff. We're kind of able to see, okay, all right, we're 50 miles in. I'm feeling good, but hey, we're down 30 seconds. So then I'm going to go, okay, well, let's get over to European because I know that's super technical. And that's where I can pick up my pace. But ultimately, if I can go out and feel like I'm cruising all day, that's what I'm going to try to do. And make up a little bit of time on the beach here and there where it's super high speed. But the big thing I have to remind myself is just no risk. So
You've got it where this year has been the year of Alan Ampudia, basically. Every score race, those guys have been the ones to beat. You've got your own game plan. You've got your own, I want to be here at this point or whatever, but how much are you sort of like keeping track of the progress of say, your Ampudias, your McCrackens or whatever?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, Alan's been on this run that none of us seem to be able to figure out. Cause he just has these runs, and I think it's showing how capable the trucks are. Alan used to be a guy who was like, oh, Alan's making a run, but probably won't last. And now with the vehicles and stuff, they're lasting. And then he pulls it off, and you're like, dang, that happened again. And then dang, that happened again. We need to get this figured out. But I mean, Alan's a great driver. But throughout the race, we're relying a ton on split times, tracking, stuff like that. And now with there's a new rule in score, so we're able to talk directly to the helicopters.
Right.
The information we're getting is just, we're getting loads of information that allow me to make kind of my strategy play out. But yeah, we're definitely, oh, what's Alan doing? Is he splitting? So, I mean, the rumor is Alan's going to solo it again. I feel like that gives me an advantage. I should try to, play on trying to put some time on him because he's going to be trying to be conserving throughout the whole thing. So then at, hour 18, he does still have some gas in the tank mentally to go after it. And that's where, I mean, when someone's soloing in Bryce's section, that's where he can really capitalize because he's going to be fresh, jump into San Felipe and just hammer down, where Alan's going to be, he's going to be in the groove, but I mean, mentally, who knows where he could be. He could be in a great state, or he could be just, get me out of this car. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of different things playing in. We have our game plans. I've been racing with these guys for so long now and watching them for so long. Their pros and cons. And so then on race day, once you line up, okay, I'm behind Toby. Okay, this is where he's gonna probably pull from me, but this is where I can put up time. So just being smart, and that's kind of what's fun about Baja. I mean, in F1, they got strategists and all this stuff. Deep down in Baja, I'm calling the strategy, which is kind of nuts because I'm also trying to hang on to this, 1,200 horsepower fire breathing trophy truck. But it's kind of fun. It tests you mentally, processing all that information while at, insane
Christopher,
speed.
you say obviously there's a heck of a lot of information. You get splits, you get the, you can talk to the helicopter. Are you one of those guys who basically, in terms of what you were being told by the guy alongside you, there can be too much information, or do you really, really like, the information on whatever is coming up to be to be tight, to be spot on. How much is free form? How much is basically, I want every single instruction, almost like WRC style.
Yeah, I love information. The more information you can give me, the better. And that's it keeps me locked in, and allows me to process, and I can process as much as I want. I'm fortunate in that, like, I can process, it at different levels. So yeah, I'm asking for everything. We are very similar to WRC. We have we'll probably have about 9,000 notes for our section.
Oh, good grief.
So yeah, it's stupid.
Don't lose a page, for goodness sake.
Yeah. Luckily we're using GPSs, which is a little bit different. So yeah, but if that thing turns off, it'll be scary. But so my Navigator's pretty much talking the whole time. And I think one thing that's different than a lot of other guys, I think their Navigator makes a lot of decisions ultimately, like those in-car decisions. Mike and I definitely make decisions together, and we talk while stuff's going down, but usually his focus is feeding me the information, and then I'm also receiving information from the helicopter, the team, stuff like that in different ways. And ultimately I make the calls, like, okay, we're going to pit here, or I think we should push here. And then I just take his information and transform it into how I use it. Which, that's what's different. Like, if you listen to our race comms, it's me talking a lot of the time versus him talking, when I'm talking to the team. So kind of fun. I enjoy that. I think it helps me get better as the driver. Like, okay, this is where I need to push versus just like getting told drive faster. I can kind of like play it out because I know all these guys mentally.
Now, you come off the back of a stout result on the Baja 400, fourth there in the trophy truck class. How important is momentum to sort of coming into the big one, into the 1,000?
It's super important. And for me, fourth, super good. Am I happy with it? No. But if you look back at my year, I'm very happy on it. I've had a brutal year of racing. I mean, the ball 1,000, we went 12 miles. We had to skip San Felipe for some other outside reasons, and then go out at the 500, qualify first, and I crashed 3 corners in. It's not fun to talk about, but it's the truth. So I've had this like monkey on my back, or I've hit a pretty low in my performance. So to get through the whole race at the Baja 400 to end up fourth, it felt good. So now, now going into the 1,000, I felt like we got that monkey off our back, and now just keep going and try to prove these guys like, yeah, those were just flukes. That's just not how I run. It's just not my year, but I'm gonna prove them wrong with these results. So.
Just rewinding, you've got a background in short course racing. You posted some pretty good seasons in the Lucas Oil off-road series, and obviously the mindset there, it's flat out, it's sprint racing. It's a bunch of guys basically rubbing and putting the chrome horn on you. Does any of that transfer through to what you bring to desert racing?
100%. Yeah, if I didn't do all the short course and stuff, I don't think I'd be even remotely close to where I am today. The short course really shapes us because it's just all out. Every mistake is recorded. It's on TV, and you see it directly. It's such a tight race. We're fighting for hundreds, thousands of a second. So that created like this like mental thing for me to be really locked in and hard on myself, because those in that we couldn't afford to make little mistakes, and that's really transferred over into the desert racing. Is yes, we have thousands and thousands of corners that no one ever sees, and if I blew them, ultimately no one's gonna know. But still, all the short course days, I have that I could shave a thousandth off by doing this, and you do that a couple thousand times, all of a sudden it adds up. So that part of it, but then also that mentality of being able to read people, because you're in the short course, you're so close, and you're really it was a game of chess ultimately, because you're racing these guys every weekend. You know how they perform, so you start to learn like mental things and stuff like that. And that's, I think, helped me transfer into the desert, because I can start to read these guys and see when I'm getting the information, okay, this is the mindset they're in. Even though I'm not seeing them, I'm just processing information, which I think if you grow up in the desert racing, it's tough, because it's kind of that lost, it's not, it's thrown in your face as much. Like it was just being pounded in our, so you had to figure it out.
Because I'm also interested in whether that has allowed, as you say, qualifying first last year for the Baja 1000, whether that short course background does come into play in the, the bang bang of qualifying as well.
100%. My qualifying is, if we could qualify all the time, I'd be pumped. Because I can go from having a conversation like this to driving a race car at full tip, like just all out in 2 seconds. Like that was what short course trained us. Like we had 1 lap or 2 laps to make it happen, and we were doing it every weekend or every other weekend. So you had to figure it out or you didn't perform. So that's, it's definitely helped with, I think a lot of the desert guys, you got 500 miles to settle in, cruise. And then now that we qualify, which is somewhat newer for desert racing, that's a new wrench in the thing, and setups and stuff like that. We had qualifying setups in short course. So for us to bring in qualifying setups and characteristics, because those qualifying courses, they're more short coursey a lot of time than that desert race. So we're able to bring 10 of our little speed secrets over into that, which for me has been fun because I'm good at it. But so that qualifying is it's intimidating, but I do enjoy it because it brings me back home a little.
What was the thought process? Was there a moment when you thought, I do want to go desert racing? I mean, or was that always part of a bigger plan?
It's hard to say if it was part of a bigger plan. I think growing up as a kid, the trophy truck was always like, oh man, that would be so cool, because you saw these guys and they're just doing it just seems like they're defying, physics. They're hitting these holes, they're racing. For me, the adventure part of it was always something that I was intrigued of. Short course was really fun, but it was only 15 to 30 minutes long. That something about being in a truck for 12 hours always seemed exciting to me. But ultimately, it just kind of worked out. Like I really didn't plan on switching anytime soon, and I got a deal, was racing some desert racing for a factory Honda team for a while, so I kind of got my taste in that. And then the way the stars aligned and COVID and stuff, it was like, hey, let's go try this desert racing for a little and just see. And then I kind of got hooked on it, and now I've ultimately sold all my short course trucks, and now I'm addicted to the desert racing.
All in.
Yeah, it's all in. And to do trophy truck, I think that's the way you got to be. I mean, trophy truck is no joke. It's challenging. There's no doubt about it. You think you're ready for it, but I'm over a year, I'm like almost 2 years into it, and I still am constantly like, man, this is tough. This is tough.
Now, you said that this season on the score side has been a little bit challenging. Obviously, you've come off the 400 now, and things are beginning to sort of head back in the direction they should. But let's not forget that you, I guess, as a bit of a side hustle, but you become a guy to beat at King of the Hammers. A winner there for the last 2 years. I mean, that all adds up to that's a pretty big positive in a season.
Yeah, no, I do forget that. Yeah, I won King of Hammers, which that was my 4th King of Hammers win, which is, is fun. 2nd in the trophy truck, which, I love King of Hammers, and it's a fun stateside race. And yeah, it's one of my favorite races every year. So I can't downplay that. But these Baja races, I think the thing with Baja, gets you so caught up with them is the preparation. It's so much planning that goes into them, so much lead up. I'm down in Mexico for 2 weeks. Where King of the Hammers, there's one pit spot, there's one, you get 2 days of pre-running, So like it's definitely as big, but at the same time, it's just simpler. So then you don't like when you finish a Baja race, it's like this weight off your shoulders. Like, holy cow, I can breathe for a sec. But okay, I got to start planning on the next one. Where King of the Hammers, it's nice because it's only one pit area. It's just a different mindset. It definitely brings me back to like my short course a little, so I do like that.
I think somebody once described it as being Burning Man with a race attached.
100%. The fans there are awesome. You pull in, there's people everywhere. There's concerts going on. There's people partying. Like the vibes are awesome. I mean, especially when you win, you finish and you go hang with everyone. It's a great time. I mean, it's one of those ones that's fun to win because, yeah, everyone's already partying. So then when you come up on top, you're like, oh, let's kick this party off.
One other thing that you experienced this year as well, Ford basically presented you with an FIA World Rally Raid, one of the Raptor T1 Plus cars to have a little bit of a crack in. First of all, give me your impressions on that, and also, I mean, if you want a challenge, I mean, is Dakar on the horizon? Is that somewhere on the Christopher to-do list?
It's definitely on the to-do list. Whether it's anytime soon, that's the tough question. But yeah, the Dakar is definitely something that I've always wanted to do. And it's one of those challenges, like if 14 days of just all out, and that fits my personality. If you spend time around me, like the more miserable the situation, the less sleep, all that stuff, that's where I'm like, oh, this is sick. Like it gets me excited, even though I'm kind of miserable doing it. It's all I want to talk about afterwards. So, yeah, no, when Ford called me, it was like, hey, we need you to go drive this T1 Plus it was at Red Bull Rampage, giving rides to professional athletes and VIPs and stuff. I was like, awesome, but I've never driven this thing. I'm like, oh, you'll figure it out. And it was super fun. I mean, the car is awesome. It's a complete, so many people are like, oh, how's it compare to the trophy truck? How's it compare? Yes, there's some things that compare, but you got to look at it from afar. It's a completely different beast. Mm-hmm. They're just set up for different terrain. The rules are so much different. It's got 350 horsepower. My trophy truck's got 1,200 horsepower. I mean, my trophy truck coughs and it's got more horsepower. So that's the kind of different part, but it has so many similarities and stuff, and it just is so responsive and fast and kind of it just does what you want, which is so much fun when a race car's like that. You can make decisions and say, hey, I want to turn right now, and it does it. Where my trophy truck is much more of a planning. Okay, there's a corner coming ahead. I need to, set the vehicle up and prepare for this corner. And, so it's a different beast, but overall, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they got it set up so like just comfortable, and the sequential cutting brake, a true clutch. I haven't driven a race car with a clutch in a minute, so that was a little exciting. But yeah, the opportunity, I was super thankful. And then to see the smiles and put on all the rides I got to give, it was awesome. I was like, it was super cool, but it definitely has me itching to go, and I'd love to keep driving it. And
maybe what folks don't know as well is that the Ford team there on the FIA World Rally Rally Championship, you've got Carlos Sainz, a former World Rally champion. You've got Matthias Ekstrom, absolute Dakar beast. But Mitch Guthrie, All-American Mitch Guthrie, is basically having the adventure of his life alongside those guys in the Ford Raptor team. I mean, how have you connected with Mitch? Have you compared notes?
Yeah, so I grew up racing Mitchie when I was a kid, and then we kind of went our separate ways. But Ford brought us back together. We go to a lot of Ford events together, and we've kind of, reconnected recently a bunch. And it's fun because, it's cool to like reconnect. And he's been telling me about the T1 Plus, and I've been telling him about my trophy truck. So now that's what I just saw him at an event, the Ford Raptor Rally last weekend. And like he like ran over to me. So he's like, "What you gotta tell me?" So like, yeah, we're comparing. I'm like, oh well, it does this and does that, and a lot of it's to be expected. But yeah, we were chatting. I'm like, I I gotta let him come drive the trophy truck one day just so he can experience it. But no, I mean, to see Mitchie, what he's doing overseas and stuff, it makes me smile, and it's cool. And what he told me, which I didn't realize, I mean, I'm the only person who hasn't raced those T1 Plus that ever has driven it.
Is that right? Good grief.
Yeah, besides Carlos Sainz Jr. when he did it for that video.
Who was absolutely terrified, by the way. Yeah. Could
Yeah,
not
yeah.
believe the commitment of his, veteran father in that thing.
Yeah, so it was kind of different, where I jumped in, I'm like, oh, let's send it. This thing's awesome. He's a different. So yeah, that part, when he told me that, I was like, oh man, I see why so many people are asking me about it now. I guess it is kind of a big deal, but it was cool. I had so much fun, and you can see in a lot of the photos and the videos, I was jumping out just with a big smile on my face, because it was kind of cool to get some wheel time and didn't have like stopwatches and engineers like overlooking me. So I think if I do ever get the opportunity to go and do that route, it's going to be a huge, I already have like a little, advantage, because I kind of got those like bugs worked out of like the nerves of so many times you show up to test a vehicle and it's a new vehicle. There's a bunch of people standing around. There's engineers, there's, marketing people. And it's like, hey, go drive this thing for 5 laps. And if you do good, yeah, you can go race it or whatever. But if you don't do good, sorry.
Yeah,
and
no pressure.
You're like, oh, if I don't perform, like, this is it. Like, I lose my ride or whatever it is. So for me, it was really fun, because I just jumped in, no expectations, just put smiles on the face sitting next to the guy. And he couldn't tell if I was making mistakes. So it was awesome.
Hey, I've got a specific request to ask you, and this is from Reese Millen,
Okay.
who has basically said, "Why did you choose to get rid of the top neck
mustache?
facial hair?"
It's just, I think it was scaring too many people. I think it was looking a little too scary. I don't know if you saw it. I don't grow a proper mustache. There's a lot of patches and stuff. I don't know why I got rid of it though. I don't know. I just needed some change. It was, it's kind of it's just a little dirty, a little nasty. But I shaved it off. Some of the girls were like, "Why'd you shave it off?" A lot were like, "Thank goodness you shaved it off." So I don't know. I gotta see what it plays in. Maybe it'll make a comeback. It's whatever. Anything to impress the ladies, right?
Well, there you go. Well, as a freshly shaved Christopher Polvoorde, it's the next thing is basically to go back to Baja to set it up for the week for real. Just give us your take on just the intensity of that whole Baja 1000 week, and the mindset, as well as every day you are doing something. For somebody who basically hasn't experienced it, this is probably the most full-on week of the year.
Oh, 100%. This race, it's just so much goes into it. So that proper planning the week before is also a big part of it. I mean, we get to go in pre-runs, we get the course, we get to go basically practice the course and learn about it, and kind of build our strategies around that, build our notes. And that last week, the course changes a ton, because there's 200 plus race teams all running. We're all doing tons of days. We're all on big pre-runners and race trucks. And so, yeah, you start off Monday, just you're pre-running. And I think a lot of people think, oh, pre-running, like we go down, we eat tacos, we kind of drink beer at night. Like, no, it is not that anymore. I think 20 years ago, that's what it was. And I think
it still is for Von Gittin, by the way.
Yeah. And like you see that in some of the different classes. But if you want to be at the pinnacle, like the top trophy truck guys, none of us are doing that. I mean, most of us aren't even eating out because of the risk. I mean, I just had tacos in Mexico last week, and it's probably the first time I've had tacos in almost a year in Mexico. And I spent 3 months a year in Mexico. So it's just a different mindset, because I'm eating healthy, I'm eating pre-made stuff just to limit the risk. So yeah, you go into this and you're waking up at 5, you're pre-running till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then you get in a chase truck and drive 6 hours home every day. So you're getting home at midnight, 1 in the morning, and then wake up at 5 and do it again, because that's what it takes. And we're sleeping in the back of the chase trucks and stuff, but it's not good sleep. It's not. But but it's fun. So yeah, it's all that preparation and making sure that last week you don't miss anything, because rocks are moving, lines are forming. That's the thing. The course changes. Like, oh, this corner went from being a big corner to now people are cutting it or straight lining it. So there's all those different variables. Then you throw qualifying in one of the days, which that kind of wastes your whole day of pre-running, and you're focused on, turning it up. You got to perform there. Then based on how you perform, you got to live with that for the rest of the week. And that a lot of times changes those next 2-3 days of pre-running a ton, because you're like, oh shoot, I didn't qualify good. I need to figure out how I'm going to pass.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I qualified really good. I got to figure out how I don't get passed. So that kind of stuff. And like, oh, like we can make more dust here. Cause I mean, that's different things. You're playing, you have these lines, like sometimes, there's 3 wide. Well, we're going to take the line that whatever is going to make the dust behind the guy worse for us. Stuff like that is there
in the qualifying, is there a case to say, first is great, but say even third or fourth where you can see, lines of the trucks ahead of you just as a bit more, is there almost like an optimum qualifying position that is not first?
Yeah, and that's the question. We're all always debating that. Like, is first? I don't know if first is really the best. You see a lot of these scenarios where guys come from third, fourth. I think that's kind of that sweet spot. I think you get fifth, sixth, seventh, you're really battling dust and just different variables. But if you can jump in that third, fourth, because when you are first on the road, you're breaking ground, which is scary, and there's a lot of different variables people don't think about in Baja racing. We're cleaning the track, so the stuff's dirty. Roads are loose and stuff like that. But then also spectators, cars, booby traps, cows. We're the first one to wake these people up when we come through. So that part's definitely tough. And then you're setting the pace. Sometimes when you're out front, you set the pace and you feel like, oh yeah, I'm good. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh shoot, I'm pushing way too hard. Where when you're third, you can kind of judge. You really can bounce off these guys a lot more. So I don't know. I always struggle what that optimal thing is.
Right.
It's weird. It's a weird. I don't know. I don't think there's ever a right answer on what qualifying is good. I qualified third or fourth the last race, and all my guys were like, yep, that's perfect.
Right.
And then it didn't work out right, and you're like, oh, well, it wasn't perfect, because first and second just put on a heater all day, and then you're just struggling because you're pushing in their dust. So yeah, I think first is always the safe bet. But then you lead into other variables. So yeah, I know that's a long-winded answer.
No, that's great.
Saying it, but I don't know.
We haven't got to the bottom of it, but we've covered every scenario.
100%. And I mean, that's Baja racing. That's what's so fun about it, is there's so many of these unknowns that you never can really, even if you strategize. And we had people just sitting trying to, I think they would, really smart guys, they would struggle to go, okay, yeah, this is consistently the best or whatever, because it's just Baja. You never know whether, I was third on the road and I hit the cow.
Yeah.
So those two woke up the cow and I came over and finished it.
That is extremely bad luck. Yeah.
So those are those different variables that you can't plan for. You can't strategize for.
But just the way that the week flows, you've done your qualifying, you've got a little bit of, I think, sort of like the opening part of the course, you can pre-run that on the Wednesday.
The final day. Yeah.
But you've also then got contingency, and you've got the fantastic craziness that is contingency on Baja. But at that point, I mean, you're just basically chomping to start the race. You've got in the truck, you've set your time. Those days must be, in a way, excruciating.
Yeah, it's tough. You just want to go, and you're at that point. You've been down there for 2 weeks. You feel really prepared, but then you're not prepared enough. So you're like, I want to go back out, but then you're like, I gotta save myself physically and mentally. I gotta recover so I can jump in this car and do that. And then contingency is so much fun. But for us, there's so many other things on our minds.
Yeah.
Or like, you're interacting with the fans and everything, which is so awesome. Like the fans down there, it's awesome. You do your autograph signings, you're taking photos. It's a good way to get your mind off of all of it. But then deep down, all the fans are like, oh, so what are you gonna do? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, yeah, I need to think about that. Or so it's definitely stressful, and it's one of those things that you just want to go. I mean, when I go to bed before race tonight, I'm just like, I just want this to. I am just praying like I just want it to be 12 hours from now when I'm racing, because then it's just we're committed. So yeah, it's stressful. There's no getting around how stressful it is. The team, all of us. It's just, there's so many variables. You can hit all the checklists and then you still forget something. So that part of it.
And then Baja happens. So
yeah, then Baja happens. I mean, then Christopher goes and crashes at 3 corners in, and you're like, well, yeah, that didn't work out. So
hey, well, we've covered looking at the opposition. We've got Alan and Pudier and getting set for doing his Ironman thing. We've got the likes of McMillan and McCachran. We've got a stacked field, but we do have you back with Bryce. Give me the best case scenario, and I think I can preempt it and know what that will be, but give me a take.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, perfect day is I go out, qualify first again, and I go cruise my section, don't have flat tires, don't have any issues, and give the truck to Bryce with, 5-10 minutes, 15-minute lead, which is very unrealistic. But, I think if I could give him a couple-minute lead, then I let him handle the business, which I'm confident he can do, and then bring it home. That's one of the advantages of his truck, him finishing, is if he needs to make up the time, he can do it because it's his truck. And that's where Bryce is awesome. I mean, Bryce is one of the greatest of all time. So he can put on time if it needs. But yeah, ultimately qualify first and lead all day without any issues. I mean, there's just so many variables you can't plan for.
Well, hey, this year we get the chance on the RACER Network to follow the whole thing. Obviously, we'll be following the progress of you and the other trophy truck guys. We'll also be taking it down the classes. A lot of huge battles brewing down the class. But Christopher, thank you for finding the time. This is you before you get into to phase 2. Get back down there and it all becomes very, very real. So. Yeah. Best of luck. Thank you for joining us, and we will be following your progress.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to hear what everyone thinks. With all this new technology, they get to watch what's really going on, which is, it's exciting to see it going to more people, because back in the day, it was just me and the guys sitting next to it going, you guys wouldn't believe what will happen to us for the last 12 hours. And they're like, now we're finally getting to share it real time, which is, it's really exciting.
We used to just have the weatherman giving us a radio report every couple of hours.
Yeah, no, the times have changed, all the new tracking, all this stuff. It's so exciting. I think this is a very exciting point for off-road desert racing, and I think it's only going to go up from here.
Well, Christopher, thanks for finding the time, and we'll be following every one of the 854 miles.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you down there.
Thank you.